If your charity is stretched by member queries, registrations, applications, and other time-consuming tasks, a web portal can reduce the admin burden. This simulated portal includes examples of self-service functions for supporters to demonstrate what's possible with Microsoft Power Pages or a custom Azure website. Let's start with volunteers. Think about your current volunteer recruitment process. Someone might email to say they're interested, so you reply with a form, and once that's completed, there are screening checks to arrange and policies to send out. Behind this, a spreadsheet might track these steps, but if that's a slow-moving process, it risks losing potentially good volunteers. Here's how a portal can provide a better experience, where an existing supporter can quickly register as a new volunteer. Rather than having them complete a long form in one sitting, a portal walks them through it in stages. Because they're an authenticated user, it doesn't waste time asking for contact information you already know. This form starts with their availability, which days they can volunteer, how often, and how far they're willing to travel. Then it asks about skills and experience. This form uses text boxes, but it could be adapted to include option sets and tick boxes. We can also build in more advanced rules, such as dynamic questions triggered by specific answers, as we covered in an earlier video. Next, an applicant is asked to provide an emergency contact and details of any access or support needs. Once they've agreed to the terms, they need to confirm acceptance of the organisation's policies, such as the Volunteer Code of Conduct, Data Protection, and Health and Safety. Each form is written back to the connected CRM system. At ServerSys, we build portals that integrate with Dynamics 365 and Power Apps, so there's a record of who accepted which version of these terms and when, rather than having to try and piece it together from emails. Once the initial details are confirmed, the volunteer page shows where they stand and what needs to happen next. The exact sequence depends on your rules. Here, an initial form submission has prompted a preliminary check, and now the person is directed back to the portal to finalise their application. Power Platform user roles are configured, so when the volunteer's status is updated to pending, they'll be prompted to upload a DBS certificate, provide references, and read the induction guides. In most instances, organisations arrange their own DBS checks, but this simulates how it could work if an existing member uploads a recent certificate. With these steps completed, people can progress to becoming an approved volunteer without anyone chasing them for a form. From first click, the volunteer feels looked after because they can always see where they are in the process, increasing the likelihood that they'll complete the necessary steps. Approved volunteers can log into the same portal area to manage their commitments and view open opportunities for one-off activities or ongoing work. Here there's an upcoming fair which has several open roles. They can see at a glance whether something fits them, how many spaces are available, and apply directly, which reduces the number of questions directed to volunteer coordinators. For organisations distributing funding to beneficiaries, grant applications are another example where people often have to navigate unwieldy forms and teams spend significant time processing them, which delays decisions. Even if you don't award grants, the same pattern applies to any structured application, with a clunky form in front and manual processing behind, so that could include applications for bursaries or hardship funds. Here's an example of how a portal can provide a better experience to encourage wider funding participation. Starting this application opens a guided journey with 6 steps visible up front, so the applicant always knows where they are in the process. The first covers the essentials for making a case. What's their project? Which funding program is this for? What problems will the project address? What actions does it involve? And who are the beneficiaries? In the second step, applicants can check whether they meet the funding criteria. Having these points early in the process avoids applicants wasting time on proposals that aren't eligible or grant officers receiving submissions that don't meet the basic rules. Each step can be adapted and the application can be saved at any point, rather than expecting people to complete them in one sitting. After confirming the relevant organisation, this application requires a costed budget plan detailing how funds will be allocated. Supporting rules can be built into these type of forms, whereby an organisation might only fund up to a fixed percentage of the total cost or require more details about other funding sources. By collecting financial information in a consistently structured format, applications are processed more quickly without having to decipher multiple tables. Once the financial details are provided, an applicant needs to expand on the project's expected outcomes, including what success will look like and how they'll monitor progress. To finalise, they must complete the declaration, which creates an application record in your connected CRM. If you're already using Dynamics 365 or Power Apps to manage grant applications, we'd configure a portal to connect with these existing processes. If not, we'd build these tables in the backend to configure each funding program. When that's in place, applications via the portal can be routed automatically. That could involve an agent providing an initial assessment against your evaluation rules, so your panel can focus on judgment calls without giving up control over these decisions. Within the portal, people can check the status of their applications as received, under review, or approved. With that visibility and automated messages, it minimises the "did you get it" type questions that teams often face because applicants can see that they haven't been forgotten. Awarded grants come with reporting obligations, and recipients can handle these in the portal and see what needs to be provided and when. The status of this funding application was upgraded to approved when the related CRM record was updated. Under the terms of that award, the recipient must provide reports that demonstrate how the grant was spent and the results achieved. For this example, one report has already been submitted with a couple of supporting invoices. They now need to provide another report covering the latest quarter. In this form, they can provide an update on how the remaining funds were used and upload supporting invoices. In addition to portal notifications, you can set up emails that remind people to submit their reports so that no one needs to chase them up personally. With these monitoring and impact updates captured in the portal and accessible in CRM, teams can find all the details in one place to validate each submission and report on the return from their funded projects. In addition to CRM systems, we configure portals to integrate with external data services, including payment gateways. One example is enabling donations within a supporter hub. Public sites attract and convert new donors, but a portal deepens existing relationship, and that changes what a donation experience can do. It's where you can use your data to personalize and provide a richer experience. This means returning members are greeted with a message thanking them for their contributions and quoting the exact figures from your data. On the Donations tab, the portal user could manage a recurring donation. In this case, they'll make another one-off contribution, adding to the recent donations shown in their history. Supporters can select one of the recommended amounts or type in another figure. This form allows donors to specify which of the organisation's activities they want their money allocated to. We configure this to maximise gift aid contributions and ensure HMRC compliance. For existing supporters, a standing declaration can be used to automatically claim gift aid, boosting donations by 25p in every pound donated. At any point, donors can withdraw their permission directly within the portal. These payments go through a checkout experience powered by a payment provider. In many instances, portals are connected with Stripe, so transactions are securely processed within the portal interface and written back to the integrated CRM and ERP systems such as Business Central or Sage. As well as handling supporter donations, portals can track their fundraising activities. Whether that's a triathlon, sponsored run, or hiking challenge, they can tell you about their events beforehand. Here, every fundraising effort becomes a record, the events, the dates, and its target. The registration form starts with their story about why they're doing this and details of the specific event. Here they can request a fundraising pack and linked to a Just Giving page. The portal doesn't replace the giving platforms that people already use for collecting donations, but it can connect these pages so that the background details live on a centralized supporter record. This form captures more stories about what individuals are doing and their personal reasons why, which can be used to promote their activities and celebrate achievements in social posts, newsletters, and other communications. Permission for this publicity can be sought, so consent can be granted or withheld before this form is submitted, allowing the organisation to act in accordance with its supporters' wishes. Whatever type of supporter someone is, they'll have questions. How does gift aid work? Am I eligible for a funding programme? What does my membership include? Individually, none of these are hard to answer, but collectively they add up to a significant part of someone's week. By logging into a portal that covers frequently asked questions, people can quickly find the information that they need even when your office is closed. Here we have a small sample of knowledge articles, but in a live build, portals connect to a searchable knowledge base containing dozens or even hundreds of articles managed by a team in Dynamics 365 to keep it current. These online resources help deflect potential service and support requests. For example, one of our non-profit clients has seen 40% fewer requests reach their service team since publishing knowledge articles in their portal. When someone does need help, they can request it via the portal. Subject, category, and details of what's happening are all tracked. With this connected to Dynamics, a case reference number is generated and the issue is routed to the appropriate team and queue. In the support area, users can view the status without wondering if anyone has picked it up. A portal can also be a community hub where supporters can interact with like-minded people to share experiences and support one another behind a secure login. In these threads, we have conversations about reporting tips and volunteers arranging a car share, which are organic conversations and engagement which the organisation didn't initiate. Alongside this, resources distribute content that's available to signed-in supporters or specific user types. Briefings, guides, and publications can be access controlled based on who someone is and their status. The portal that we're using here is designed for individual supporters, but we also configure them for other membership and supporter structures. That could include family members with multiple connected records or corporate memberships involving several named users. These structures are always defined in the back-end system to govern access controls and permissions for portal functionality. Within the News and Events tab, the portal provides another distribution channel, sharing your latest updates with members. That can be combined with event listings, enabling authenticated users to register for upcoming in-person and online events and connect with your event or marketing automation platform. Because each portal is responsive, your volunteers, donors, and other supporters can securely access from their mobile or desktop device. In summary, these portals are where volunteers can register and get onboarded. Grant applications are easier to navigate and arrive consistently structured. Donations include gift aid captured at the source and are tracked to a supporter record in your CRM system. You can also gain better visibility into your supporters' fundraising activities ahead of their events, and your community can find answers to their questions through an online knowledge base or request assistance without phoning. Together, these reduce manual effort and the errors that come with it. Because supporters enter information in controlled formats, the data quality improves and the processing is quicker. Just as importantly, they move you away from the spreadsheets that become harder to manage as support numbers grow, and over time a more reliable, responsive experience is what's likely to keep supporters with you. These examples reflect what we can build into portals for charities and non-profits, but each would be configured around your organisation and community. In each case, activity flows into an integrated dynamic system. That means one record holds the full history of someone's support, what they've given, what they've raised, what they've volunteered, and what they've asked for. That's a single version of the truth and what makes personalised and relevant communications possible. If you've recognised your own processes and challenges in any of these examples, please contact us to discuss the outcomes you're looking for, and we'll show you how a portal could work for your organisation.